Joe Biden's history as a serial fabulist exceeds even today's shameful standards of habitual lying in Washington. If deceit was art, Joe would make the old masters look like amateurs. The president's repeated insistence that he never discussed with Hunter his overseas business dealings, let alone with his partners, is belied by indisputable evidence that has grown exponentially over time. Yet, the elder Biden maintains the ludicrous charade. No reasonably intelligent person believes him. Recently, Fox News uncovered records showing that Hunter's associates in his suspected influence peddling schemes frequented the White House more than 80 times when his father was vice president. A top executive in the son's now-defunct investment firm logged at least 17 visits. Another partner seems to have taken up residency there with 27 appointments. Are we to believe they merely chatted about the weather? Hardly. Biden's persistent claim that he had no knowledge of his son's foreign dealings and never spoke with him about it defies logic and common sense. Even Hunter disputes it, admitting to The New Yorker that he talked with his father about his lucrative venture in Ukraine that netted some $11 million. An audio tape surfaced in which Joe Biden is heard discussing a pending news article about Hunter's suspicious Chinese deals and informing his son, "I think you're clear." Authenticated emails confirm that Joe Biden attended numerous meetings and dinners with many of Hunter's foreign investors and business partners. Photographs corroborate it, and there are messages thanking Hunter for arranging meetings with his dad. The two flew aboard Air Force Two together to China, where Joe met with his son's business cohorts. Just days later, Hunter cemented a lucrative venture with a Beijing investment firm, BHR Partners. A trove of incriminating evidence found on Hunter's abandoned laptop suggests that both Bidens stood to gain handsomely in a secret deal with China's largest energy company, CEFC, that had strong ties to the intelligence apparatus of the Communist Party. Payments in terms of 20 for H and 10 held by H for the big guy are identified in one smoking gun message. Camouflaging Joe's collaboration was of paramount importance, which is why memos show he was given code names like the Big Guy and Celtic. Hunter's former partner, Tony Bobulinski, has publicly confirmed that Joe was the big guy. Indeed, Bobulinski says he met personally with Joe Biden to discuss the family project that was expected to net billions of dollars in Chinese contracts. However, he was cautioned in one edict, "Don't mention Joe being involved, it's only when you, sick, are face to face. I know you, sick, know that, but they are paranoid." Several of the Biden enrichment schemes are revealed in a well-documented U.S. Senate report that constitutes a damning indictment of corruption. The 87 pages are chock full of stunning details involving not just Ukraine and China, but Russia, Kazakhstan, Romania, and Oman. Given Hunter's exceptional talent as a con artist, there may be others that have not yet been uncovered. It is no coincidence that Hunter's illicit schemes revolve around countries where his father was in charge of U.S. foreign policy directives during his 8 years in the Obama administration. It appears obvious that those overseas entities thought they were buying access to the vice president for future influence and protection. Since Hunter's only marketable skill was being the scion of a top U.S. government official, he monetized his father's power. There is no doubt that Hunter was adept at fattening his bank account with foreign cash by exploiting his genetics for financial gain. That's the kind of predatory scam that hustlers run. They are brash and greedy. They also excel at lies and cover-ups. It is learned behavior. As the old saying goes, like father, like son. The entwining of Biden finances with foreign adversaries raises grave concerns about national security, counterintelligence, and potential extortion of our current president. Have our country's defense and economic interests been jeopardized? It seems so. This is precisely why Republican-led congressional committees are now investigating what Democrats refused to probe. The key to unlocking the suspected corruption and cover-up is to follow the money. Examining the roughly 150 suspicious activity reports, SARS, that banks flagged to the criminal division at the Treasury Department is a good start. They may prove instrumental in piercing the veil of secrecy that obscured, for example, the roughly $31 million in Chinese cash bagged by the Bidens. Already, the House Oversight Committee has obtained the first bank records that show how a Chinese company wired $3 million to Hunter's associates, who then promptly distributed more than $1 million to 4 Biden family members. What exactly did they do in exchange for the cash? They should be called as witnesses to answer under oath that crucial question. The role of Congress is all the more vital because it is increasingly clear that both the FBI and the Department of Justice are running interference for the Bidens. Despite written demands by members of Congress, Attorney General Merrick Garland refuses to appoint a special counsel while ignoring mandatory regulations that require him to do so. The fix is in. The AG claims he's not involved. Don't believe it. Attorney General Merrick Garland attends a news conference at the Department of Justice headquarters on January 27, 2023, in Washington, D.C. The FBI has had custody of Hunter's computer hard drive for 4 years. It appears to have been buried deep in a vault, never to see the light of day. The Bureau's documented role in suppressing and censoring the laptop story in advance of the last presidential contest demonstrates that the agency itself is corrupt and cannot be trusted. The Twitter files establishes that the agency colluded with social media companies to diminish free speech rights and unduly influence the election. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney in Delaware has been investigating for 5 years. Not a single charge has been brought despite a plethora of incriminating evidence. None is expected. Such deliberate inaction is beyond suspicious and now borders on the absurd. It is obstruction of justice by the Department of Justice. Does anyone doubt that an indictment would have been rendered long ago if the target's name was Trump instead of Biden? The accumulated evidence of wrongdoing is overwhelming. Emails, witness statements, visitor logs and other records make it abundantly clear that Joe Biden was complicit in his son's shady multimillion-dollar influence peddling operations. With much of the government bureaucracy aligned in solidarity to protect the president and his family, Congress is now the only avenue by which the truth can be unraveled.